So we have a lot of news to get into. The first one, McCall, welcome to the show. We're happy to have you. But some of the most recent news that has dropped ahead of the NWSL opening weekend is that the Chicago Stars have announced that forward Mallory Swanson will miss the season opener for personal reasons. Now, she still has not reported to camp, and the latest roster update said that she is, quote, continuing to attend to personal matters. McCall, this could be a lot of different things for her, and we're not going to speculate on that, but this is a very big deal coming out of Chicago, looking at the season ahead for them and also for Mallory Swanson, because she's been such an integral part of soccer success, specifically with the Stars.
I support personal reasons because we never truly know what they are, and we have to give grace to the human. But for the Stars, I mean, she's the heartbeat of that team, and I know she's probably feeling a lot of pressure as well, right? She's going to go back and she's going to realize that the team is going to rely on her again. So I'm really pushing for other Stars players on that roster. They're going to have to step up. You know, who knows how long she's going to be out? Who knows if she even wants to go back? Maybe she is realizing that she doesn't have a lot more to do there, and maybe she wants a change. Maybe she's holding out. We really don't know. But I will say they rely on her a lot and they're going to miss her a lot. So I'd be interested to see like a Nesbitt step up or a Schlegel or somebody else that can, really pop in some goals and give some attacking threat.
Yeah, Chicago's gonna have a lot of work to make up for with Mal Swanson, and it's not fair. She really has to shoulder that team, or she's had the responsibility to shoulder that team. So McCall, I totally agree, and thoughts and prayers to her. I hope everything is okay. But looking at how Chicago approaches this weekend, I mean, they have a big game ahead of them. But a player that I'm looking forward to seeing actually is Jamise Joseph. She went to the Futures Camp in the off season, and that is a huge moment to build your confidence as a player. I want to see her looking more effective, more lethal up top. If there's not a Mel Swanson that's there setting the tempo of the game and being the heartbeat of the team, as McCall said, you have to look at Schlegel, Jamise Joseph. Ludmila is also a player that's out off of that red card from last season. We're still not going to see her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's still out. We don't get to see Ludmila. But now they have acquired players like Maytane, which McCall, I know you played with Maytane. I think that that'll help them a lot in the midfield. Hell, maybe she'll even play in center back because we don't know if Sam Staub is back. But it's all
Sam Staub, Darian, as of yesterday, defender Sam Staub is off the SEI list.
I did
Yes!
I did see that. Congrats to Sammy. But I don't know if that's meaning that she'll play this weekend.
Right.
So there are so many players that I think really need to step up, and this could be make or break for Chicago. Do they have the mentality? Do they have the fight in them? Has Lauren Donaldson instilled that this offseason with being able to make moves, being able to work with the team a little bit more where he's not just being thrown into a situation? They've got a lot of work to do, and their hands full this weekend.
Totally.
Allie Schlegel, yeah, good shout for her. Ava Cook, guys, she's also coming back from her ACL injury that she suffered back in April 2024. So the short-term future is not looking too bright for Chicago. They travel to Orlando Friday night, 8 p.m. You can watch it on Prime. But I think long-term with Ludmila, after she serves her red card suspension, Schlegel getting significant time, Staub coming back, and Ava Cook coming back from ACL, there will be some hope at Chicago. I don't mean to sound so dreary when I say that, but there will be some hope.
But we have to understand, basically everyone we just mentioned, Maytane, even Alyssa Nair, right? These are all people from the back. They can only do so much leading from the back. We need someone who's going to take charge up front and pop in some goals and be dynamic up there. And I think they really struggled with that this year. And maybe they will start to close the gaps because in transition, they got caught a lot. They got really stretched in between their lines. So hopefully Maytane, when Staub comes back and Alyssa screaming from the back, tighten your lines, get higher, seal the ball when it gets higher, because it was too easy coming out last year for them.
A team that said, we have a lot of offensive power, but we want more, is the Kansas City Current. They signed forward Flora Martelacho, who is the first Angolan player in the NWSL. Some stats for her: 2024 Best 11 CAF Women's Champions League player. I mean, Darian, how many weapons does Kansas City possibly need?
Oh my God, not many more, but I really want to shout out the NWSL and Vlatko and just seeing so many African players come to the NWSL. I mean, I have been so high on AFCON, on the African teams, the players that are in really poor circumstances, that we don't get to shed light on or see their real talent just because of where they come from. And now that we get to see so many of them here stateside playing against the best of the best competitively with great coaches where they're growing their game, I just love it. This is the world sport. This is Africa. I love it. Um, to answer your question, Kansas City did not need more attacking reinforcements. I mean, I was going through their forwards. I mean, Bia, Temwa Shwinga, Nichelle Prince, Haley Hopkins, Michelle Cooper, Kristen Hamilton, Flora Olacho, sometimes Dabinia if she's playing up top. And some of the rookies that they acquired, that is competitive. That's a really competitive front line when you have the MVP, leading goal scorer, record breaker, Temwa Shwinga, who is solid in her position up top, whether if she's playing center, left, or right, you're not taking her off of the field. It's a lot of people competing for two positions. I don't know how you manage all of that. We saw that a bit with Gotham last year. McCall, I know you can attest to this, but it just seemed like a little too many options, champagne problems for Gotham. And I wonder if we could potentially see that with Kansas City, or if Vlatko really has it in him to rotate in a way that satisfies everybody.
How do you manage it, McCall?
I mean, Dee's exactly right. It's a very difficult job to have a lot of stars and a lot of stars in the same positions, right? So, in the women's game specifically, we need to feel very heard and appreciated and feel like things are fair. And only 11 players can go on the pitch at one time, and they have so much attacking threat. And some of them are a little bit similar. We'll see if they change their formation or put players in positions they haven't played much just to get their best on the field. But I mean, Vlatko head coach definitely has his work cut out for him, because keeping everybody happy with that much talent on the field and on the bench is a really difficult task. So I'd be anxious if we check back in June and see if it's going well, or if we feel the energy and the environment kind of changing in KC.
Watch Kansas City come out with like a 3-3-4 formation, or a 3-2-5, 5 up top, and just it's all vibes, all forward. Let's go. We'll score more goals than you. We did it last year.
Yeah, I was
Maybe
gonna
we'll
say
see that.
theme isn't that different from what they rolled with in 2024. Well, mark your calendars, because Saturday at 12:45 p.m. Eastern time is when we'll see the kickoff. So 11:45 Eastern, the lineups will drop for KC against Portland, and we can just attest how many of their 9 rostered forwards are going to take the pitch. Crazy to think about that. Some other news: Canadian international defender Vanessa Gilles, who is currently on loan with Lyon from Angel City, she opened up about her return to the NWSL, saying, quote, "I don't see myself going back to the US with the current geopolitical situation." As Canada Soccer Women's Player of the Year, reigning Women's Player of the Year, Darian, Angel City, they could have used Gilles this year, but no head coach. I mean, there's a lot happening at Angel City, and now to think that Gilles isn't even going to be part of the mix, can't help AC.
I mean, au revoir. I would be chilling in Lyon too. You're playing in Champions League. You're in the back line with Wendy Renard. You're probably making great money. Like, I would also be hesitant to go back to Angel City, also because US and Canada, we don't need to get into that. But if I were Canadian, I would also be hesitant to come here and play right now. But also, does Angel City really need another center back? They brought in a lot of players. I mean, they have Sarah Gordon, Megan Reed, brought in Alana Kennedy from the Matildas, former Man City player. She played in the NWSL before. She's really good at distribution out of the back, also clutch on set pieces, whether she's getting on the end of them or taking them. They brought in Miyaba Moria from this Japanese international we saw play in the She Believes Cup, really talented. I think they actually have a lot of depth. I think mutually this makes sense. If Vanessa isn't wanting to come back, which totally understand her reasons not to, go play overseas, stay in Europe, go play in the Canadian League. I mean, that would be incredible to go back to your hometown and play in your professional career. Angel City will be okay. And I think she's doing just fine with Lyon. And if she stays there, kudos to her.
Gilles staying in Lyon. We're going to keep our news also overseas in Europe. Big update out of Women's Super League and Manchester City. As Gareth Taylor, the former head coach, has parted ways with Manchester City, and they are set to compete in the League Cup final this weekend. The team is still alive in Women's Champions League and the FA Cup, not so much in the WSL standings. They sit in fourth. Nick Cushing, who is the former coach, he has stepped in as the interim for the rest of the season. Man City has only won the WSL title once in 2016, and it was under Cushing. Now, the test for Cushing comes fast and furious because City takes on Chelsea 4 games in 12 days, and it is a fast turnaround in the Women's League Cup, UEFA Women's Champions League, and a WSL match, and it starts this weekend. So it's fast and furious for City and for Nick Cushing. We'll keep you guys updated on everything happening in the Super League as the NWSL season starts.